Double-digit divisor division. It is the nightmare of fifth grade children everywhere. It is the thing that plagues the existence of elementary school students. It is, actually, it's really not that hard, but we're going to talk about it today. And we're going to look at how exactly we divide when we have two-digit divisors. You're going to find that the process is very similar to dividing by one-digit divisors, okay? So I've given you a focus question, pretty much says, how is two-digit divisors different than dividing with one-digit divisors, okay? Like I said, really it's not. The process is the same. I won't lie to you, it is a little bit more tedious just because we're starting to deal with some larger numbers. And you're going to guess and multiply a lot in certain instances, but I'm sure you can handle it. The first thing I gave you was an example, 236 divided by 53. Of course, we're going to set that up in the format that we can work with. We have 53 going in. The first thing I said to do is think that 23 is divided by 5. Notice I've highlighted 23, our dividend, and the 5. I know 5 times 4 is 20. So I want you to try 53 times 4. When you do that, you're going to get 212. 212 fits into 236 4 times. So we put the 4 up there, we subtract, just like single-digit divisors. And just like single-digit divisors, you got to make sure that you keep the division lined up. Okay? When you subtract 212 from 236, you get 24 for a remainder. I know some of you guys are itching to keep rolling with decimals, and we know that we just put the decimal in, we put a 0, and keep on rolling. But for what we're trying to do today, for this particular skill, I want you to use a remainder. I promise you, I'll let you get rid of that remainder soon enough. Here's another example. 426 divided by 71. The thing about double-digit division is that we have to find somewhere to start. So I always say, start with the tens digit. How many times does it go into 42? You're thinking 42 divided by 7 equals 6, so 71 times 6 is the place to start. From there, you're going to have to from there you're going to have to multiply and then adjust what you're multiplying by based on what your number is. When I was a kid, the strategy I always liked as a fifth grader is I always took my divisor and multiplied by 5. And then I would go up or down from there. I was foolish because that wasn't as efficient as what I'm showing you to do. I ended up doing a lot of extra multiplication that I didn't really need to do. So 7 times 6 is 426. I couldn't have planned this problem better if I had wanted to. 426 minus 426 goes in 6 times, leaving you 0 as a remainder. Now let's do one together. I don't want you seeing all these problems thinking I planned it out and I've got it perfect. We're going to do this one in real time. 697 divided by 85. Let me put that dividend right in here. Divisor on the outside. Now, what I'm going to start with, I'm starting with thinking 8 goes into 69 8 times. 8 times 8 is 64, right? 69 divided by 8 would actually be 4. And then we'd have, 5 left over, 4 remainder 5. So what I'm going to try, I'm going to try 85 times 4 to start with. Because, I'm a knucklehead. I made a mistake. I'm going to try 69. I'm going to try, don't worry, I will get it. I teach math for a living. 85 times 8. I'm going to try 85 times 8, and I made my mistake here. Really, it goes in 8 times. I'm going to try 85 times 8 to start with because 8 times 8 is 64, and 64 fits inside of 69. Now, this might not work, and I might have to adjust. 5 times 8 is 40. 8 times 8 is 64, plus 4 is 68. I got lucky on this time. I get 680. That fits. So I'll put my 8 over the last digit I'm looking at. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Marriott, why did you underline 69? Well, just like with single-digit divisor math, we know 85 doesn't fit into 69, so we got to look at 697. We just did 8 into 69 as a place to start looking. Okay. Put 680 down here. Obviously, I'm not going to get another 85 in there before I hit 697. I subtract. That's within 20. I expect you guys to be able to do some mental computation. That's 17 away. 8 remainder 17. Okay? Sometimes, though, every now and then when we're doing one of these, oops. Every now and then when we're doing one of these, we're going to need to do several steps. It's not going to work as cleanly as the first 3 examples that I gave you. So we're going to have 869 divided by 34. I'm thinking 34 goes into 86, but I don't really know how many times. I'm not fluent with how many times to try that. So I'm going to look at 3 into 8. 8 divided by 3 is 2 with a little bit left over. It won't go 3 times because 3 times 3 is 9. So I'm going to try 34 times 3 to begin with, even though I know that didn't work because your teacher's a knucklehead. And I get 102, and it didn't fit, which is cool because now I know to go down. So way out here, if I stretch out of the frame, I get 34 times 2, which is 68. 86, or 68 fits inside of the 86 we're looking at. So now I'm going to subtract and I get 18. Now the second part of this, when you have this happen, drop the 9 for a whole new 3-digit number. Now we're looking at 34 into 18, which it doesn't go, so 34 into 189. It's the same process that you did the first time. I'm going to look at 3 into 18 just as a place to start. 18 divided by 3 equals 6. So I'm going to try 34 times 6 to see if that'll give me 189, because 3 times 6 is 18. It doesn't. It gives me 204. Which means that I have to adjust. I know it didn't go with 6, so I'm going to drop down to 5 because it's close. It means 34 times 5 is 170. That fits. Regroup the 5. Make sure I got my 2 up there. Everything's in a line. It's looking good. Subtract 189 minus 170. It's 19. I got a remainder 19 because I got nothing else to drop. Example 4, I've started, and then we're going to finish it together. 108 divided by 75. I started to look at 75 into 80 and 8, and then I was like, whoa, those two are close enough. I know that 75 goes into 80 one time. You have to be flexible with the math. Don't get yourself into a routine where you're just doing one thing, doing one thing, doing one thing. Look at the numbers, treat each problem individually. Use what makes sense. I'm not going to do all the extra steps if I know 75 goes in there one time. I subtract 75, I get 5, I drop down to 1 for 51. 75 doesn't go into 51. You know that. And there's nothing else to drop. So that means I put my 0, I put a remainder, 51. Of course, when you're checking, you take your remainder, multiply it by take your quotient, multiply it by your divisor, you get 750, add your remainder in there, you get 801, I'm golden. Be flexible, use basic facts as a place to start. We are not estimating, we are not changing any numbers here. Adjust your multiplication as necessary, watch the video again if you have to, and do these trials. 234 divided by 60. 611 divided by 87, 919 divided by 47, and 722 divided by 35. We'll check them tomorrow. Even if you get stuck, try something. That's what's important.